Hello and welcome to Sports Update. I'm Emmanuel Fashimi. On Sports Update this evening, there are a lot of stories making the rounds in the world of sports, from basketball straight to the round leader game, some transfers that we'll have for you also involving Nigerians, because it's not only the European players that are involved in transfer. We also have our own transfers in the MPFL, also our players right there in Europe. But we will be starting with basketball, where one of the biggest stars when it comes to NBA, and he's a Nigerian, though he's not playing for Nigeria, he's not playing for the D Tigers, but he's representing Greece. That is in the person of Antetokounmpo. The name is Adetokounmpo, but we are going to stick with Antetokounmpo. That is a Milwaukee Bucks player who has come down to Lagos, that is Nigeria precisely, and went straight to a school at in the VI there, and he actually gave out some kits, basketball bags and the rest of them to pupils. That is where he's going to actually show them what basketball is going to what is basketball is like, how to couple education and sports and the rest of them right there in Lagos. I have Abba Michael, who will be joining me from Plateau State to actually react to this, and also have a guest in the studio. But before I'll speak to the guest in the studio, let's go to Plateau State, where Abba Michael will actually react to this. Antetokounmpo inspired some pupils in Lagos, that is VI precisely.
Yes, of course. When you hear Antetokounmpo or Adetokounmpo, the first thing that comes to your mind is Giannis Adetokounmpo, who is arguably the best player in the world right now. I mean, this is long awaited. The Adetokounmpo brothers are the most successful, basketball siblings in Africa, to come from the African continent. And we expected more of this. I expect that we see them every summer come to encourage kids, the basketball enthusiasts, basketball lovers, basketball visionaries. I expect even more of Nigerians applying in the NBA. We expect to see them come during summer like this and inspire aspiring, superstars. But this is an inspiring move, and I believe so many youngsters who witness this will definitely give basketball a priority to ensure that they reach their goals and their dreams.
Yes, actually to reach their goals and their dreams, and that's a very smart move coming in from Giannis, the Adetokounmpo family. Both of them look alike, lanky, top players, and coming down to Lagos, their fatherland, giving back to the society. And I love that move, going to not just second, though he's going to make a lot of movement around the country, potentially Lagos and wherever he's going to go to. But starting with the school children, that is pupils, the little ones. What does it mean for you, my dear?
I think it means a lot. We know how an idol in somebody's life can actually influence whatever decision you make as you grow up. So coming down to their fatherland, it's just like giving back to the society. They actually had a dream where they were that young, like age of those pupils, and they had their own idol. Now they worked towards it, and they are other people's idols. So getting to see these pupils who might want to be like them maybe tomorrow, it's a lot, and it kind of goes a long way to boost your confidence and think that, yes, if this person can do it, I can do it. And that is a big one for me. It says a lot. It speaks volume.
It speaks volume, a big one for you, my dear. And to tell you the truth, he actually donated bags, basketball, a lot of keys to the pupils, and they had basketball clinic where he actually showed them some skills, how basketball is being played, and that is a big one. If we have other stars out there who will come down home and do the same thing, who says we cannot match any team in the world, but good one coming in from the Antetokounmpo's family, Giannis Adetokounmpo and the likes. Good one coming in from that angle. Let's move away from that story and head straight to the mixed martial art, where Adesanya, when you are big, you rub shoulders with the big boys. Adesanya right now training Mark Zuckerberg, the owner of Facebook. A big fight against Elon Musk. Now, this fight, I think, is going to be one of the biggest things that will happen in the world of sports, my dear. Adesanya training one of the richest men in the world? Let me say a young man.
I think it will be like a child's play in the world of sports and then big in the world of business. Yeah, because I feel like this is like a business and not so much of a serious fight. I know this is actually, to send a message and all of that, but I see if Mark Zuckerberg will actually go for Adesanya, who is the big boy and who is doing very well in his craft, I think that, the likes of Elon Musk should know what's coming for them. I don't see anything very serious because I feel like these two people, yeah, they might get the training and also want to, come and show what they have. But, it will say a lot in business. Maybe who has more money than the other person, but not so much in the world of sports.
Not so much in the world of sport. Mike, I don't know if you agree with Madeira, who's here in the studio. But Adesanya is also preparing for his own fight against another South African. Now, I think Adesanya should be training with somebody who is into UFC. But the choice of Mark Zuckerberg, how does that come to you, Michael?
Well, first of all, this is the type of fight where within 24 hours you will see 300 million views. I mean, these are the people that have created a platform where you will just make a video skit and become a billionaire the next day. You are looking at 300 million views, 500 million likes. It's definitely going to break all the records when it comes to views and likes. And I tell you what, Adesanya is about to quadruple his net worth. I know in our eyes, Adesanya is a multi-millionaire, but I tell you what, before Elon Musk and Zuckerberg, Adesanya is just a poor church rat, and I think it's an opportunity that God has given him to make him one of the richest sportsmen in the world. And I just like the fact that it's going to be a cerebrally inspired technological battle. And we look forward to it. But I tell you what, Zuckerberg just created a new platform called Thread, and that just 2 weeks ago, 1 week ago, and now it has over 100 million followers. I think they are taking their battle from the technological world to the physical world. I just pray that none of them get to faint in this encounter, because we are not tired of their innovations.
Yes, we are not tired of their innovations, but if you look at it for Adesanya, he's also preparing his ultimate fight against another South African, that is Driscoll's. Now, that fight, I think, is a very big fight for Adesanya. Now, let's talk about that fight. Let's leave him and Mark Zuckerberg, but also he's using this to prepare for that fight. What are your positives about that fight?
Well, you can only use this to publicize the fight further. But I tell you what, this will not in any way give him any physical advantage in the preparation towards this fight. But I think this is more like stepping down, calming down, and relaxing himself in the process of putting Zuckerberg through. The main fight is that big fight, and that is where his career is hinged upon. And so he must quickly dust this issue of Zuckerberg and get straight back to business. I see the Zuckerberg opportunity as a break time for him, and not just a break time for him, but a breakthrough time for him to, of course, raise his millions and his net worth. But I think he needs to pay more attention to that fight, get back into his drill, and do the things we know him for. I mean, that guy is actually inspiring all the UFC fighters and, of course, the MMA fighters upcoming in Nigeria.
Upcoming in Nigeria, good one for my Adesanya. I want to call him Michael Adesanya, but good one for our own Adesanya, who left the shores of this country to New Zealand, but now he's the real deal when it comes to UFC. We just hope and pray he gets that belt and he wins that fight against Driscoll of South Africa. Good one. And for the business side of it, I think he's going to make a lot of money from Mark Zuckerberg. Good one. I think maybe if I have opportunity, I also go and box maybe Elon Musk, or I would train Elon Musk.
Yeah,
but
I would agree with you. Maybe you can, edge out to the likes of Elon Musk, and please don't even dream of going for Adesanya.
I will beat him. Okay, let's leave that story and head straight to Australia, where Wardrum right now he's in a positive mood ahead of the FIFA Women's World Cup. We just have few days away from our first game against the Olympic champions, that is Canada, on the 21st of this month. That is our opening game in Group B. Now Wardrum in positive mood ahead of World Cup. How positive is Wardrum, my dear?
How? I think his positivity has to be on another level, you know, for him to come out and say that he's in a positive mood and preparing so much for the World Cup. I think the last World Cup has actually set the tone for a lot of people that, you know, it's not business as usual. In as much as we saw the likes of, you know, Messi and the rest of them play their trades, and we're expecting maybe the unspeakable to happen, we still saw how some underdogs had to play their way to the quarterfinals, and it speaks a lot of volume. I love the fact that, you know, we are actually in that era or that time where a lot of people are actually preparing and warming up and putting this positive attitude into the World Cup. That means that, you know, we are going to expect the unexpected. We are going to see more action that we saw in the last World Cup, which I felt like that was the most interesting World Cup for me since I started watching the World Cup.
That is for the men. Now for the women.
For the women, yeah, the last World Cup too for the women was actually, you know, one of the most interesting. Even though we didn't do very well as a nation, I think that, you know, it's one of the most interesting for me. And speaking about the men and also the women as well. So Wardrobe now has to do the best. I've been saying so much about the ladies that they've been doing, you know, one thing or the other. Not very much, I would say, but
for the Super Falcons.
Yes, for the Super Falcons. But getting into the World Cup now, I do not want to, you know, be in that mood where we say we play the first match, we're out of the group, and then we go to the knockout stage, and then we are always crashing out. I want the Super Falcons to go
get to the final.
Not the finals, but, you know, play semi-finals, quarterfinals. It's not so much of a big deal.
Well, it's not so much of a big deal. Michael, if you look at it, Wardrum said he's in a positive mood after war of words between him, the girls, and NFF. Now, because I've always tackled this, that the NFF should just allow these guys to concentrate. But now the coach has come out to say, okay, what he's seeing in Gold Coast right there in Australia, they will be having a warm-up game today, I think tonight. But he said he's in a positive mood. Now, that mood, do you think he's going to translate it onto the pitch of play after the likes of Anide and Francisca Odega joined the team lately? But it's now a full house. What's your take on Wardrum's mood?
Well. As for Wardrum, it is obvious that the NFF have finally pacified him. If you listen to him last week, I mean, before the trip to Australia, it was one outburst after the other. He was throwing tantrums and banters, but I love the fact that he has been outspoken. I love the fact that he had to set the record straight. I mean, put the matters to the front burner and let the NFF know that they need to sit up. It's not only the Super Falcons that need to sit up. And I'm glad that they have finally allowed him to concentrate. I think he has shown them that if you really want me to work, allow me to concentrate. And probably in the last few days, they have realized that, hey, you need to give this man an opportunity to face this squad and see what we can get out of it. We want the Super Falcons to go as far as possible, for the fact that we have the likes of I mean, the lady with 9 lives on Nome, and of course Rashidat Ajibade, Azza Oshwala. I mean, we have stars. So we have a reliable team that I believe they are 9-time African winners. They have what it takes, I mean, to go so far in this World Cup. We need to just give them the support and leave every form of criticism and allow Wardrum to concentrate and make
this happen. Our best bet in the World Cup was in 1999. That was the maiden edition where we got to the quarterfinal, and after then the last edition right there in France, 2019, we got to the second round, but we were knocked out by the host nation. This time, semi-final will not be bad, and probably if we get it right, we can get to the final. But first, We have to get out of Group B. Also, the coach of Ireland is talking that the bonus issue will not be something that will affect the Super Falcons. We have Australia to play. We have Canada to play. Our first game is against Canada. Now, quickly, let me ask you. Now, let me just let's look at this game. That will become. We just have a few days to that game. Do you think Super Falcons will get the first win of their group against Canada?
Yes, I think they will, because the Super Falcons, just like Wardrum, their coach is saying that they have, this positive attitude into it. I think the positivity will start from, the first game, even if it's a friendly or not. I know that this is not a friendly, of course, but they know that they have to get to the pitch and do what they can. And I feel like they are going to edge out Canada. They're going to win their first game with Canada.
If I should ask you now, by how many goal margin?
I think it's not going to be an easy one, because Canadian team are actually one of the strongest.
They are the
teams
Olympic champions.
Yeah, so I would say that it's going to be maybe by 1-0.
Okay, 1-0. Let's see what happens on the 21st of this month. Just a week plus 3 days away from now, we'll be having our first game against the Canadian women national team, the Olympic champion, against African champions. And very soon, we might just be, in quote, the world champions. If we get everything right, the Super Falcons can be the first African women national team to win the World Cup. Morocco, for the men's side, did it, got to the semi-final. Super Falcons, you can also get there. Wardrum, get it right. NFF, allow this team to concentrate, pay them their money. That is the message to NFF right now. Okay, let's move away from that story and talk about some transfers. But we will be starting with a Nigerian, a big boy, I will call him. Alex Iwobi attracts interest from Inter Milan, Fulham, and West Ham United. Michael, this guy was voted the best player for Everton come last season, and he was instrumental to Everton staying back in the English Premier League. But right now, 3 clubs are lining up their bids to see if they can price this guy away from Everton. Michael.
Yes, I like it when I see Nigerian players hog the headlines. I tell you what, Iwobi is the second coming of JJ Okocha. Even the players voted him as the player of the year. I mean, he was able to hog the headlines. He was able to bring the limelight to himself by his ambidexterity on the pitch of play, even at the Super Eagles level. I mean, Iwobi is an integral part, of our national team. I love the fact that he's just 27 years old. He's still in his prime. I believe he can even get better. I mean, when JJ Okocha was 27 years old, we saw him dazzling all over Europe. I mean, we saw him in PSG. We saw him in Hamburg, up to Bolton Wanderers. That's what we want to see from his nephew, doing Nigeria proud. And I think it is worth it. It's an opportunity for him to look, have him chat with his manager and discuss which team will be best for him. Is it the same Everton? Is it Fulham? Or is it West Ham? But I think he should stay where he is guaranteed. He will get a first team jersey where he is guaranteed that his career will blossom. But I'm just happy for the fact that his contract will expire next year, and they sign him to a bigger deal before the contract expires, or else he'll be going on free transfer next window.
Or else he'll be going on free transfer. But let me ask you, Madeira, should Iwobi leave Everton? And if he's going to leave, which team will you suggest? Inter, West Ham, or Fulham?
I'm this kind of person, speaking from my own perspective, I like to leave the stage while the ovation is still very high.
Okay.
I don't want my career to start dwindling, or probably I'm not wanted somewhere and then I decide to leave. I want to leave while the ovation is high and move on to something greater, something better. So if I am to speak for Everton, for Iwobi, I think he should leave Everton at this point. He has done his beat for Everton. After leaving Arsenal, he has been doing great. I think the next team now will be Inter, because I don't see him, in Fulham or West Ham at this point. Inter will be the next.
Inter will be the next. Iwobi, you have to just make your decision whether to stay back, because Sean Dyche actually needs you in Everton. But if you want to move, Madia has said, okay, go to Inter, not Fulham, not West Ham United. Let's talk about another transfer, another player who's doing well in the African continent and then in Europe also, also in England, a Champions League winner. former African Footballer of the Year. And this time around also, people are saying, okay, he is going to wrestle that award with our own Victor Osimhen. Let's see how it ends. That is the person of Riyad Mahrez, where Al Ahly is preparing a £30 million bid to prize Mahrez away from Manchester City. He has won the league, he has won the Champions League, he has won the FA Cup, he has won the Carabao Cup. What is left? Go to Saudi Arabia and make more money. My dear, I will start with you. Now, this move where Al Ahly is preparing to table a £30 million bid to prize Mahrez away from Manchester City.
You know, most of the big players now are actually seeing their way to Saudi Arabia, which I'm not so comfortable with. Okay.
Why are you not comfortable with it?
You know, it's a trend. It's a trend. The money, yes, it's very important. But since the likes of Ronaldo actually moved to Saudi Arabia, every big club in Saudi Arabia is coming out with the big money and wanting to buy players. I feel like Riyad Mahrez has done very well for Manchester City. And I feel like, okay, getting into Saudi Arabia is good for him. But I do not want to make people think that it's because we have the likes of so many big players from Real Madrid and also
Benzema is there, Kante is there.
I know.
Ronaldo is there.
That is where I'm getting to. Why the big players? Okay, maybe this is a turnaround for the world of football now.
In Saudi Arabia.
You know, not just the English Premier League or the Serie A and the rest of them. We want to see, you know, the camera turning to another part of the continent,
Middle East,
which is also very good, actually.
Okay, which is also very good. Michael, react to this quickly. For Mahrez, staying back at Manchester City, because we know how Pep Guardiola used to build his team. We know he's also acquiring some players. But should Mahrez, should he leave Manchester City and head to Saudi Arabia?
First of all, it seems like all the Saudi Arabian teams are embarking on a crusade, Operation Deplete the Superstars of Europe. Yes. I think that is what is happening now. And they are dangling some dollars in their faces just to win them over to switch allegiance to, the Saudi League. Al Ahly, like we said, 43-time winners, have joined the likes of Al Nassr, Al Hilal, just to get superstars into their league. I think they are obviously looking for more media hype, more visibility. They want to depopulate the viewers of English Premier League. That's why they're embarking on this crusade. Well, for Mahrez, I believe he's worth more than £30 million. If you look at what Mahrez brought to the table in the last UCL and, of course, Premier League that they've won, that guy should be worth at least 70 to 80 million pounds. So I think that is too cheap for a player in the realm of Riyad Mahrez. Well, for me, Riyad Mahrez has achieved everything he needs to achieve in football, but I feel he could still stay a little longer, probably win a couple of more trophies before he goes there. Ronaldo went there at the age of, 37, 38. So why is he in a hurry to go? He should at least give him like two more seasons, probably in EPL or maybe even in Italy, before he should consider moving to Al Ahly, the Egyptian Giants.
Okay, Al Ahly, not of the Egyptian Giant, but of the Saudi League. That is where they're actually coming with that amount of money for Riyad Mahrez. Like you said, they are just dangling these papers. Come and take. If you are ready, we have it to give to you. If I'm one of these players, I will not just, I will just tell my club, please, if you don't want me to go terminate my contract, let me go and make some cool cash for myself. Quickly, before we go on the show, let's take this last one where Thiago Alcantara, a player that actually when he came into the limelight, he was the revelation of the Spanish national team. He was started to take over from Andre Iniesta, but at some point, injury did allow this young man to shine very well, but he still had his own in Bayern Munich. He started with Barcelona and left Pep Guardiola and went to Bayern Munich, where he won some laurels. But this time around, he could make a return to Barcelona. Michael, let me hear from you before I'll talk to my dear, before going on the show.
All right. Of course, you are looking at a guy called Thiago Alcantara. A guy who has won it all when it comes to club football. Barcelona made him what he is. He was able to win the UCL with Barca, and I think he later won the UCL in his last season with Bayern Munich. You are looking at a guy with 7 consecutive league titles with the Bundesliga giants Bayern Munich between 2013 and 2020. Yes, in 2014 he was supposed to be part of that World Cup squad to Brazil, but he just couldn't make it due to injury. But I tell you what, he was probably the next Iniesta, but unfortunately he didn't do it in Barcelona. He had the best and the peak of his prime at Bayern Munich, but it's an opportunity to go back home. I mean, where it all started. Should I say La Masia? I mean, should I say what the place that made him what he is? You are looking at somebody who made 2 FIFA Pro 11 selection. I think Thiago Alcantara is one of the very best of his generation. He's definitely one of the greatest players of all time. And I think it's an opportunity for him to go back home to end his career. He's had 46 caps for Spain. I think he was born in Italy to Brazilian parents. The guy is just interconnected when it comes to the European teams. And I'm so happy for Thiago Alcantara. I think he's had quite a fulfilling career.
He had a quite fulfilling career. My dear, quickly, you want to react to this? Should he go back to Barcelona?
Yes, in as much as, you know, he will go back to Barcelona. I know that most of his wins, you can attribute it to Barcelona, but he's going back to a team that, you know, this is not the team he left.
That is where he started from.
I know. This is not the team he left. He's coming back to a new reconstituted team.
Okay.
So when he was playing his trade, the players that you see in Barcelona right now, we all know that Barcelona is trying to, you know, build up their team.
Yeah.
It's going to not be the same people you played with. So it has to do with a lot of adaptation. He's a professional, so I feel like he's going to do well when he goes back home. Okay, he's going to do well when he goes back home for Thiago. That is where we'll leave it on the show this evening. Michael, thanks for joining us on the show this evening.
Yes, thank you very much, MC Fash. You are the best sports senator on planet Earth.
Thank you very much. And my dear, the only lady among, they say what a man can do, a woman will not do better. Okay, thanks for joining us.
Do it better and much better.
And much better. Okay, I will agree with you. Thanks for joining me on the show this evening.
Thank you very much. It's always a delight being on 360 Sports.
All right, I am Emmanuel Fashemi. Thanks for watching.